never really had the opportunity to see Greek mythological creatures in a contemporary film.
Hydra's been done so many times before. How could we make this modern?
You know, it's not like, let's go off to mythology land. No, it's in Brooklyn, New York. It's real.
Chris is always looking for things that he hasn't seen. And he's always pushing everybody. How do we make this different?
Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief, is about a kid who has a learning disability. He has dyslexia and ADHD.
And one day he finds out he's the son of Poseidon, and he's not who he thought he was.
He is connected to a world that he didn't know existed, the world of Greek mythology.
Both Annabeth and Percy are demigods. When the gods come down to Earth, they would hook up with a mortal and produce a demigod, half human, half god. Grover is a satyr, and he's been assigned to Percy to protect him because Percy's been accused of being the lightning thief. He's stolen Zeus's master bolt, which is the most powerful weapon in the universe. He actually hasn't stolen it, but he's being accused of it.
Just dodge.
Whoa! And at that point, all dark forces are against him. The most challenging sequence in the film was the Hydra sequence. Percy is forced to go on a journey to get 3 green pearls, which are hidden at various locations across America. Now, these green pearls are the way to get out of Hades, the underworld.
So the kids have come to this full-sized building that is a replica of the Parthenon in Nashville.
It was a fantastic location because it did combine the modern and the old in that it was in the middle of Nashville in a park, yet an exact replica of the Parthenon in Greece.
Luke, how do you turn on the shoes?
It's got to build up speed, kind of like a jet on a runway.
Percy has some magic flying shoes that he employs.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I got it!
And as they've got the pearl and they're getting ready to go, they encounter 5 janitors.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Jackson.
And they actually merge and meld into what then becomes the Hydra.
This mythological, fire-breathing, horrendous creature.
The Hydra comes after them and they have to fight them.
Percy, being the son of Poseidon, has the ability to control water.
The drinking fountain explodes, water comes shooting out, and it forms a giant wall of water.
He grabs the pearl and escapes the museum.
Bringing Greek mythology into today's world is actually the challenge.
Greek mythological stories have been around for centuries. That's why they're such fantastic stories. However, I've never seen it in a modern contemporary setting.
It's in high school, and it's real. So you gotta have characters and things that are cool, that make sense in our day.
That's the key, is making every part of it as real as possible.
The challenging thing of this scene was finding a way to play this attack by the Hydra, obviously a Greek mythological character, and place it in the modern world in a way that's relatable to kids who are watching the movie, to characters in the movie.
Percy, stop!
The challenge is not to make them stuffy gods walking around with stilted language and togas all the time. We introduce Greek gods as normal human beings that just happen to have these great powers and real problems. So I think the consequence of audience members not being able to relate to these characters is catastrophic. You're bored out of your mind. Nobody wants to go see a movie with characters you can't relate to. 3 of the components of the Hydra scene, bringing it into the modern world, are the Hydra itself, the flying shoes that Percy uses, and Percy's control of the water. In early drafts, this sequence is an encounter at the St. Louis Arch with this creature, Chimera, which has a lion's head and then a goat's head popping up out of its back and then a snake for a tail. It's kind of a ridiculous looking creature. And so to make it relatable to the kids watching this film, it was Chris's decision to replace Chimera with the Hydra, which is a terrifying creature, probably one of the great monsters in Greek mythology.
The first thing we needed to do, once the sequence was written, was to come up with a design for the Hydra. The design for this particular Hydra consisted of a lot of research of ancient Greek mythology. The goal was really to create a beast that felt like it was in the room with these 3 kids.
Here in the modern world, we don't see the gods and monsters very much, so to bring these into the modern world, you look at things that we take for granted, sort of everyday occurrences, people, sights, everybody you meet on the streets, and you start thinking, well, wait, there could be a Greek monster hidden there.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Jackson.
I don't think anybody's ever seen a Hydra form from 5 janitors starting to morph together after one burps of fire.
The fun thing that Chris kind of latched onto was that he wanted each of the heads of the Hydra to have a little bit of a personality of the janitors.
I wanted the janitors' bodies to merge together, giving the Hydra a purpose.
Like the one that I'm fighting, I'm talking smack to it. I'm just like, yo, you got a sweet tooth. Oh, you got a sweet tooth. And I'm throwing snacks in his mouth, like Snickers, M&M. I guess I got the hungry one.
It's a fun way to relate to the Hydra and see it put in the modern day.
In the Hydra sequence, Percy flies to battle the Hydra with these very special shoes that were given to him by Luke, who is the son of Hermes. Hermes is the messenger of the gods, and so he has to get around rather quickly, so he gets around wearing these winged shoes.
We've modified them, made them more contemporary, and used Chuck Taylor sneakers.
I mean, these shoes been around for so long. I mean, they're part of American culture. It's a part of anybody's childhood.
I have to say the most challenging part was when we needed to create a language for the flying, so it's not just Peter Pan.
This is the first scene where Percy uses them, so he has to warm up and figure out how to use them.
If you keep your feet close together, then they'll go forward. If you like move them back, they go backwards. So they had a new way of flying because they're winged shoes. It's not like we got the cape and we're like dun-dun-dun-dun.
We were able to kind of make it seem a little bit more realistic.
I got it!
In addition to the flying shoes, Percy also uses his power over water.
Percy, being the son of Poseidon, has the ability to control water, and he's learning how to utilize and control his powers throughout the film.
We're not just going to the ocean and taking water out to battle this Hydra. Because we're in the modern day, we have other resources.
Thanks to the advent of modern plumbing, Percy has an advantage over the heroes in ancient Greece. Everywhere Percy goes, there are pipes with water in them.
You have water fountains.
I think it's cool because he's creating a wall of water blocking this Hydra.
I sort of conceived of this idea that Percy's ability to control water is gravity-defying. Water can float up in the air, it can form a wall, it can form elaborate tentacles, it can do all these things.
Everybody wants to be that character. You know, kids will go see this film, and when they're alone, they'll do like the little hand and water thing and try to make it move, and it will inspire them that they could possibly be a demigod. I got this.
Oh, it's gonna take some practice! Whoa! Whoa! Greek stories have shaped Western civilization today. The way it's written, the way it's romanticized, the way it's portrayed. I got it! Yes!
Yeah, Percy!
Kids are gonna want to go back and read the myths over, and they'll have the tone of Chris Columbus's film in their head.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Jackson.
I don't have the lightning bolt.
There's a nod to Greek mythology throughout the entire film, and it's just one big roller coaster ride.
When kids see this sequence, they're going to see Greek monsters like the Hydra for the very first time, and I think get as excited as I got when I saw them for the first time.
I hope the audience experiences the way in which the modern world collides with this mythological world.
You got a sweet tooth! All right!
Where your imagination is being excited and incited and inspired in ways it never had before.